We begin tonight with yet another earthquake, this time with a magnitude of 6.5, wreaking havoc on the already shocked and terrified communities of central and eastern Mindanao. Here is the story.
Like in the previous quakes, the medical staff of the Southern Philippines Medical Center in Davao City rushed patients to safety when the ground shook once again. Shari, 8 months pregnant, was at the hospital for her regular checkup.
May ibang nagpanik pero most of the time, wala naman talaga hindi naman talaga nag-stampede o ano. Alam naman namin na anong gagawin namin. And may ibang na-trauma ako, medyo I'm shaken up a bit.
In a different part of the city, a netizen captured a video of the Ecoland 4000 condominium, seemingly covered in smoke. After just a few minutes, the 5-story building collapsed. Emergency workers rushed to the site to rescue trapped residents.
Mga tao doon na nasa ilalim, ma'am. Matanda, tsaka yung pamangkin niya, yata, tsaka apo niya. Nasugatan, ma'am. Marami kasing bildo doon, ma'am. Mga wasak na, ma'am. Nabagsakan sila, ma'am. Tinulungan namin, ma'am. Ang first floor, bali, datugan sa second floor, ma'am. Bali, wasak na yung first floor, ma'am.
So yung second floor parang nag-collapse?
Opo, nag-collapse, ma'am.
9 were injured from the collapse. The structure was declared unsafe and was given an order of condemnation following Tuesday's magnitude 6.6 quake, but some residents refused to leave.
Naistorya na ako ang building administrator, nangutan ako sa iyaha kung nag-force evacuation and nag-condemn ba sila sa ilahang building. And then she said yes, nag-condemn sila sa building and all the unit owners were informed of the condemnation of the building. But iningon siya, doon na daw mga renters nga nag-express sa iyaha nga wala sila makabalinan.
Amid the rubble, rescue workers had to use life detectors to check for any signs of life, but no missing persons were reported.
2 people died following Thursday's 6.5 magnitude earthquake, the third to hit Tulunan, North Cotabato in just a little over 2 weeks. One of the victims is a barangay chairman in Makilala Town, North Cotabato. He died after being hit by falling debris in their barangay hall. Prior to this morning's quake, the death toll from the previous earthquakes this month was already at 8, with 395 injured. Infrastructure damage was pegged at 2,700. The number keeps going up, though. A hotel in Kidapawan City nearly collapsed following the latest quake. The powerful shaking also caused serious damage in a mid-rise condominium in Davao City. Classes are suspended in the city until November 4 to ensure full inspection of school buildings. Despite a series of quakes, the power supply remains stable as the Mindanao transmission backbone remains intact. But a Kidapawan substation suffered damage and technical adjustments will be done to restore services to the affected customers. The NDRRMC, which has been on guard since the October 16 earthquake, is ready to provide assistance to the concerned areas. They also reminded Filipinos to take part in the simultaneous nationwide earthquake drill on November 14.
Mga nililipat na tayo, mga relief items, augmentation relief items from the national level going to the region. Ito po ay bilang paghahanda in case na kailanganin na ng additional support, ng relief support ng mga kababayan natin doon sa area. So we've been transferring tents, sleeping kits, food packs, as well as yung mga tarpaulins na pwedeng magamit for temporary shelter.
The PNP has ordered Mindanao regional offices to mobilize all their respective units to provide assistance in Mindanao. The Eastern Mindanao Command of the AFP likewise raised the alert for all military units activating their disaster response teams. The Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines also called for prayers for the people of Mindanao. And to tell us more about the implications of these 3 consecutive quakes in North Cotabato, we have on the line the spokesman of the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, Mr. Mark Timbal. Sir, good evening and thank you for joining us.
Sir Ed, good evening, and to all our viewers, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. We've had 3 consecutive quakes. Of course, I'm certain that the concern of a lot of people is that you have buildings that have probably been progressively weakened in the past 3 quakes. How should people check these buildings, these structures, whether they are safe to be used in the coming days?
That's correct, sir. Because of the continuing earthquakes, and the aftershocks that have been experienced, what you said is true. There has been progressive weakening of these structures. A number of the structures that have suffered significant damages during the October 16 and October 29 earthquakes have already collapsed in this morning's earthquake. To our citizens, what the NDRMC has been advising is that we should not go inside any of the structures as of this time, those in the communities that had been affected by the earthquake. We have to wait for our engineering teams from DPWH as well as our local engineering professionals for them to complete the assessment and tag the building as still stable. Up until such time, no one should be entering those buildings because we are trying to avoid accidents wherein people are still inside when buildings collapse due to aftershocks.
Yes, sir. But do we have enough people to undertake these inspections? If you're looking at both private and public infrastructure, you may be looking at a relatively huge number of buildings to be inspected.
That's correct. That's correct. The DPWH, to its local engineering teams, are prioritizing government facilities, schools, and hospitals. The private companies can utilize their local engineering staff who are licensed civil engineers to examine those buildings. But currently, what we are looking into is to check with our partnerships with our associations of engineers, civil engineers, so that they can augment our efforts to examine those structures.
Yes, sir. But in the meantime, should people go back to their homes or
No.
should they stay
Yes,
outside?
Yes.
Yes, sir. But in terms of that, how long or how many days do we expect people to stay out?
To be honest, sir, we actually look to our scientists in terms of this projection for any protracted stay in the evacuation centers. Up until such time that these aftershocks stop, we will not be advising anyone to return to those buildings or their houses. They have to stay in open spaces to avoid the risk of falling debris. We are distributing through the local governments temporary shelters for the use of our citizens that have been evacuated. The NDRMC is also transferring temporary shelter materials from Luzon going to those areas in Mindanao for their use.
Yes, sir. In effect, you're saying that it's better to err on the side of safety.
That's correct. They have to stay outside. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. That was Mr. Mark Timbal, the spokesman of the NDRRMC. Thank you, sir, for joining us.